MAUL survives certain deaths returning in the Clone Wars TV show. I remember when that happened. I was furious and I thought it was stupid and dumb. And I just heard about it. I had no way of watching it when it came out. So I didn't see it until I rented it from the library and binged a bunch of episodes. And it turns out I was less furious than I thought I would be. And on top of that, as the show went on and then into Rebels, I really enjoyed the character arc and development of Maul's character. But I've always had a nagging in the back of my mind about Maul surviving. And now with the Kenobi show out, I've seen some defend the failed deaths of the Grand Inquisitor and the Third Sister by saying, "Look at Maul, he survived." Though I haven't seen many bring up Palps from The Rise of Skywalker. In any case, this made me want to go back and look and see if I'm actually okay with how Maul survived, or if I think he should have remained dead. So, we know Maul got chopped in half and fell down a giant hole in Episode 1. And then the first mention of him in Clone Wars is Season 3 in Episode 14, Witches of the Mist, when Savage is tasked to go find him by Mother Talzin. And we don't see anything to do with that until Season 4, Episode 21. And in this episode, Savage discovers Maul. But he's not really Maul. He's absolutely crazy and insane. He's a rabid animal. And his only moments of clarity are when he speaks of his revenge.
To the great Jedi! Revenge. I must have revenge.
Otherwise, he's stark raving mad.
Far above what once was great is rendered small.
Also, a little nitpick here. How does Obi-Wan know Maul's name?
Darth Maul, alive?
And then, in the following episode, Revenge, he is reborn by Mother Talzin, who uses Night Sister magics to literally rip the shadows and other creepy things from his mind, and then also has to use magic to remake his body and give him legs, just like she did with Savage. Which kind of makes me wonder why there's no Night Sister magic stuff when Maul died, like when Savage died. When talking to Savage,
My hatred kept my spirit intact even though my body was not. Yet I was lost and became a rabid animal.
also we see that Maul's not all of a sudden back to full strength. He struggles initially to pull his lightsaber to him, and later we see him have a slight struggle lifting Obi-Wan up off the ground. When the next season rolls around, we see him lift a droid off the ground, showing him recapture his grasp on the Force for things other than sustaining himself. And as the episodes go on, we see him recapture more of his old self and move beyond. But the focus for the rest of this video is, does him surviving make sense? And does it cheapen Obi-Wan's victory in Episode 1? So he gets cut in half and then falls a long way down. Now, I can disregard the fall, because in Episode 3 we see Obi-Wan fall a very long way and he survives. And just looking at it, I think Obi-Wan may have fallen farther, but there's no way to be sure. So what it really comes down to is the being cut in half. Do I think that Maul could survive long enough to get some equipment to help keep him alive? Now, not knowing what is at the bottom of the giant hole makes it a little hard. Is it trash? Is it just a metal floor? Is it liquid? I don't know. I think there's a comic book about it, but I'm trying to decide if there's evidence from the movie and the shows that he could have survived. In Episode 3, we do see Anakin survive 3 limbs being chopped off and being burnt to an absolute crisp thanks to the dark side and his hatred. But he is the chosen one.
Yes! Chosen one!
Based off of what we know of Maul and learn from him when he returns, do I believe that he could survive? We learn that Maul was trained by Darth Sidious from a young age, seemed to have been promised to be one of the greatest Sith ever, and to be the right hand of his master and witness the unfolding of all these schemes, the starting of the Clone Wars, and even the aftermath. So, considering he was apprenticed to the most powerful Sith in the galaxy at that point for quite a while, yes, I think he could have survived being cut in half. But for how long? That is what I don't know, and without knowing what is at the bottom of the giant hole, I can only speculate. Does Maul's survival cheapen Obi-Wan's victory? For me, no. If anything, the reappearance of Maul and the constancy he has in Obi-Wan's story reinforces an integral part of Obi-Wan's character that Disney has decided to overlook in the Kenobi TV show. Obi-Wan is a constant in the Star Wars universe. He is the example to the audience of what a Jedi is and should be, no matter what comes. He loses his master and he presses on. He loses his love and presses on. He loses his family, his home, and his brother, but presses on. He represents how belief in good and hope can endure even through the darkest times. And Maul is there to challenge it, to tear at it, to try and break Obi-Wan and shatter his resolve. Maul surviving does not only enhance his own story, but reinforces Obi-Wan's as well. Last thing I want to address. Maul uses anger and hatred to survive, so why couldn't the Inquisitors? Here's why. Training, experience, power. Maul, trained by Darth Sidious, probably had plenty of practical experience considering what we know of Sidious. Very powerful Force user thanks to his training, but also if Sidious chose him at a young age, that means he had some considerable potential given all the other Sidious has chosen for apprentices. The Grand Inquisitor. Started with Jedi training, came up in the Jedi Temple, was a Jedi for who knows how long, and was a temple guard for some other amount of time. And then 10 years as an Inquisitor, with a caveat. From what we've seen, the Inquisitors answered to Vader. And from what we know of Vader, he would not want them to get much more powerful with the dark side, because he wouldn't want them to have a chance of challenging him. And from what we've seen of the Grand Inquisitor and the other ones, they don't come anywhere near Maul's level. Also, they have the Grand Inquisitor in the show allude to a desire for revenge being the reason he survives, but he doesn't exact any on the third sister. And the two-stomach argument is just really dumb. She stabbed him all the way through his body. She hit way more than just a stomach. There's more organs there. The third sister, Reva. Unfinished Jedi training, still a youngling. No way she survives the first stab. We have no idea how long she was an Inquisitor, but one thing is for sure in Episode 5. She is conflicted. Her grasp on the dark side would not be as strong, so that wouldn't work. Also, her desire for revenge is against Vader, right? And we saw how effective she was against him. It didn't go well. And also, what kind of incentive for revenge or hate does she get from the message she discovers? From what I can see, none. And a quick thing about the Force. From what we see of the Jedi and the light side of the Force, the Jedi try to achieve a connection with the Force. Or, in other words, I am one with the Force and the Force is with me. The Sith and the dark side is all about control, bending the Force to their will. They cling to greed and power. Sith cling to life. And Inquisitors are not Sith. At most they are acolytes. They do not have access to all that the Sith do. And for those that say that the third sister, Reva, was not stabbed as a youngling, please tell me what you're seeing that I'm not. Because when I watched this scene, she got stabbed. But we already discovered that stabbing does nothing in Star Wars. I have another video about that. In any case, this about wraps it up. I think there's enough of a power level difference and a experience level difference between Maul and the Inquisitors, and from other things we've seen in Star Wars, it makes sense to me that Maul could have survived, except for this little thing of how long was he trying to live off of just the Force. That's after he falls. How long is it before he gets some equipment to help keep him alive? That's the part I'm iffy on. So that's the one thing I'm still iffy on, and I'm trying to think about it, trying to resolve it in my head, but I don't know if I ever will. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Bye for now.